Okay, so we are going to continue with strings programming. So now we are actually in the subject matter of accessing the elements of a string. So we have, how do we actually define a string? Either we can use a single quote or double quote, and we have seen some escape characters as well that we can actually use whenever we are using single quote. So now we are actually coming to also an important part. This one usually will be assessed in your test also. How do you actually assess the elements of a particular string? So this is we are going to learn how to actually understand the indices for elements, to access elements in Python. So Python is quite unique as well because it allows us to use both positive and negative indices. So this is an example of showing how a positive or negative indices will look like. So we're going to use with the famous sentence, hello world. So the top one is the negative indices, the bottom one is the positive indices. So let's look at the positive indices. Is that always the index starts with 0. In Python, the first index always starts with 0. So that is one thing which you really need to take note. So positive always starts with 0, then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until 10. So these are the indexes. And if you are using negative indices, then it starts with -1 on the most right hand side. It starts with -1 and it goes lower. Is that okay? Positive always starts with 0, negative it starts with -1. And we use the convention of square brackets to access any elements of a string. So let's define a string. Is it too small? So either you can use single. So we're going to use the same hello world. I just made a slight changes here. I'm just using capital W instead of small letter w. And let's say we want to actually print out. Of course, if you print X, what you will get? You will get hello world. That's what we have actually done before, right? But now let's say if we want to access a specific letters, so we are going to use square bracket. So in this square bracket is where we want to specify the indices. So let's say if we are going to use positive, so let's say index 0. So which letter do you think that will print out? Capital H. If I were to use negative index, -1, which is the by default, doesn't matter how long your sentence or your string is, -1 is always the last letter on the right hand side if you are using negative indices. Is that okay? So this is what I think also the next page, I think. This one is we want to use positive indices, and you can try. Let's say if you want to access this L. So here's 0, 1, 2. So you can put index 2 and you will get L. Is that okay? So you can actually specify any positive index and you will be able to access any letter of the string. Is that okay? Got it? Now this is what I was saying. The indexes always start with 0. But let's say if you want to access the last character. So here I can just put print X. As I mentioned, you have to use square bracket -1. So this will actually give you D. Or if you want the second last, which is world, which is L, right? So if you put -2, you will see that you will get L. So you can use this, like for example -1, if you want automatically try to access what is the last string. Doesn't, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter how long your string is. Negative 1 always refers to the last one.
So I got D.
Yeah, it is D. Just now I just changed to negative 2. I just changed to negative 2, the index before. Come, try to catch up wherever we are doing. Okay, so far this is quite straightforward, right? So which means you can actually try to put any single index and you will get, you're able to extract out the excess, I mean the element from that string. So this is quite straightforward. But now